heart of Colombo, an undisclosed cemetery. It should remain, maybe, for respecting the location. And unfortunately, this telephone is not connected to a microphone, so our sound quality might be impaired. But we are seeing the dawn at a busy time of the day when lots of people are going to work normally, except that it's Christmas Eve, so it's a little bit quieter, maybe holidays, maybe no school operating. But here we can listen to a selection of birds and appreciate some of the voices. So I might point out some of them for you. Common prominent birds around include ringneck parakeets, brown-headed barbets, green imperial pigeons, palm squirrels, tailor birds, yellow-billed babblers, amongst many others. It's a lovely garden in the morning. It's quite cool, about 23 degrees, but rising very quickly now because it's sunrise. So, a Colombo cemetery, and this particular telephone is sitting on a gravestone that was laid down in 1945. So you can hear ringneck parakeets and house crows around. House crows are also referred to as grey-necked crows. It's an abundant bird in South Asia. So let's point towards an Italian tombstone, and hopefully you can listen to some of the birds around. That's a coel. this is one of the most expensive, well, this is the most expensive part of Sri Lanka right now. And if you wanted to get a property legally, it will cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But there are plenty of illegal people nearby in a local slum called 60s Garden, for whatever reason, something like that. So lots and lots of grey-necked crows and palm squirrels nearby. Also black-hooded or black-headed orioles. Also, I can hear a white-breasted kingfisher. Also, amongst the commoner birds are ring-necked parakeets squawking around and resting on a local tree. Let's see if we can focus on some of these ring-necked parakeets right now. So you can see some ring-necked parakeets right on top of that tree ahead of us. Right on top of the branches, you can see a couple of ring-necked parakeets. There. You can see them flying a little bit there. Those are ring-necked parakeets. Hopefully, with the inadequate sound system that we have here, you can hear them calling. Oh yes, and also right now, got some sunbirds behind us. So, as I said in the introduction, we're in a cemetery in Colombo in the morning at a pleasant time of the day when it's quite cool. This time of the year in December, the temperatures are about as low as you can get them. Maybe they'll get a bit cooler in February as well. The temperature here right now is about 24 degrees. The palm squirrels are just starting to bark nearby. Okay, we've got some yellow-billed babblers making a noise. So this is the time that schools normally begin in Sri Lanka at about 7:30. It's now 7:25. Indian ring doves nearby. There are at least a good 10 species surrounding us in this part of these tropics. Turning towards another side of the cemetery now. It's normally very difficult to find a cemetery in this good condition in the tropics, but there's a reason for that. Because this is not an ordinary cemetery. It's a historical one. Right, I'm just leaving the microphone for the bit to survey some birds for myself. brown-headed barbets nearby. Some tailor birds not too far away. So maybe I'll zoom out. Lots of mosquitoes as usual in Colombo. Indian ring doves not too far away. It's 7:30 in the morning when in this country normally schools open. All right, we have a magpie robin singing not too far away. Unfortunately, because we're in a bit of a field, the sounds are a little bit muted and we don't have much of an echo effect. But it's a pleasant park. Hopefully you can hear some of the birds. some common myna birds for your viewing pleasure, if you can see them. Common mynas are abundant here. And that's a crow joining them. So welcome to this tropical garden. Look, looks like we have another visitor coming to the cemetery. Wow, he's coming with his big camera as well. He's coming bird watching. Clearly, the reputation of this place has spread. Look at that. He's coming to watch some birds. Probably has a better camera than I have. Never know what will happen in a live broadcast. So it's very good that this cemetery is used recreationally by bird watchers, as well as though others who are not abusing in any way the historicity, the value of the place, and abusing it. Like, you got vandals and people like that. They should not be tolerated in a place like this. Of course, this is Sri Lanka, so this is more likely to be protected compared to certain parts of modern-day Europe, where any kinds of protests or squatting are now becoming more permissible. We've got lots of ringneck parakeets flying above us now. Okay, let's get back to these birds foraging on the floor. It's a matter of some regret that we cannot do this every single day at a specific time in the morning. So it's quite random when we do live broadcasts, but we tend to do them in the mornings, especially when we're in exotic places, if we can. Sometimes quite regularly, but that's quite rare. But today this is a special place in the heart of Colombo, in a old war cemetery. So the birds are going actively foraging now from the time of the dawn chorus. The dawn chorus, at that time, it'll be mostly squirrels and bulbuls and magpie robins here. Those are the most prominent singers in the dawn chorus. But right now, the birds are beginning to fan out and forage a lot more. And we're talking about ring-necked parakeets that you can hear in particular. The lawn is still dew laden, and it's about 24 degrees in the morning, which is damned cool for Colombo. There's common minor birds nearby. Let's see if you can see them using the camera. Ooh, they're going off. They're going off. "7:48 in the morning." So greetings from Colombo to anybody listening at this time. It's it couldn't be Europe because it's everybody's sleeping in Europe largely. But North America at night, it's a possibility. The Americas possibility. Just had a cowcul. That's quite special. Cowculs aren't as common as they once were. They're still hanging on. They're very large, predaceous birds in the cuckoo family. Also, fruit bats not too far away. And even the odd monkey that turns up here. Tailor bird not too far away. That's our bird watching. Wow, we've got a golden, we've got an oriole nearby. Papa. So being the tropics, the sun is moving very fast. You can see the shadows moving, and it's rising quite quickly now. The shadows will disappear by about noon. Nearby, that's a tailor bird. We've got our brown-headed barbets. Might have a few migratory species, but they're difficult to identify, like warblers. Not going to be featured on this particular recording easily. Honor to the dead and to some of the living here. Yeah, somebody called Tony Ashton wants a shout out, so there you have it. I've just given it. Thanks, Tony. Tony Ashton, 1044. Got your brown-headed barbet nearby. Honor to the dead that lie beneath our feet. So the name of the person underneath the gravestone on which this camera is sitting is somebody called Mutu from the Madras Labor Unit, and he's a laborer, a humble laborer from the Madras Labor Unit. Looks like he died in 1945. Mutu. It's not every day that we record a live video from a gravestone, but there you have it. Since I don't have a suitable tripod. We're about 45 minutes into this live broadcast. This is from Colombo, Sri Lanka, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. And the most beautiful bird that we've seen so far, I believe, is the black-hooded oriole. Unfortunately, it hasn't probably turned up on this camera, but we have seen it elsewhere with another. Some red-vented bulbuls flitting overhead. In green spaces like this, it never gets too hot compared to gray spaces in tropical cities. Gray spaces are the hottest because concrete absorbs a lot of heat and gives it out systematically throughout the day and also reflects the heat, whereas green spaces absorb the heat. Unfortunately, wildlife is not top of the priority in most countries of the world right now. Everybody's going on about climate change, but nobody's talking about wildlife. So we've got a famous Beethoven van coming around, probably selling bread. They play Beethoven to sell their bread. Brown-headed barbet nearby. Live broadcast from the Colombo cemetery in the morning. Probably about 25 degrees now. Oh, we have a Ceylon small barbet, variously known as the crimson-fronted barbet as well. So you can hear the crimson-fronted barbet. It is now regarded as endemic to Sri Lanka. Pop, 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 pop. That's its call. A little bit higher than that. Barbets, babblers, and bulbuls are aplenty here. Maybe not as plentiful as they once were 100 years ago, but common enough, since they can't find enough food and enough breeding places anymore like they used to once upon a time. Flocks of grey-necked crows. Hoping to do another live broadcast from a Colombo garden where we could hear the birds more easily. Not necessarily see them more easily, but hear them more easily. A kingfisher calling nearby. Omnivorous, omnivorous birds do the best because there's a lot of human food around for the omnivores, especially waste rice. Everybody likes birds generally. They like feeding them in the morning. There's a kind of subliminal noise of insects. Unfortunately, hardly anybody has been working on the insects and what the insects are and the subliminal noises that they make. But it's very clear there are subliminal voices of insects nearby, possibly orthopterans, but it could be another variety. So one is sitting in the shade because the sun in the tropics can be quite harsh. Hardly any wind at all, as in the tropics. Hardly a breeze even. Everything looks like a still picture apart from the birds flying around. Wherever there are crows, there are quails, and the quails are successfully parasitizing them. This explains why some birds prefer to nest in holes, because it makes them less liable to be parasitized. Kind of Morse code call of the crimson-fronted barbet. So tourists who come here are literally burning money, spending their money every day, quite large figures being spent, but it's probably a lot cheaper than what they would have to be spending where they came from. probably the very first live broadcast from this place in the whole of its history. Can't really say for sure, but I feel that that is the case. And it's a lovely privilege to be broadcasting from the heart of Colombo, from this special historical cemetery at this time of the day when it's quite pleasant and cool, at this time of the year as well, when it is the coolest, or about as cool as you can get. Maybe it will get cooler in February when the winter has settled in a little bit more, or what amounts to winter in the tropics. Sri Lanka is only about 6 degrees north of the equator. Cowells nearby. So thank you for everybody who's been joining us here. We've had a few. I know you're just passing through because most people are not necessarily interested in wildlife. But here we are in Colombo, coming to the closing stages of our live broadcast from a prominent historical cemetery. It's a wonderful thing where there's a bit of grass and trees where people have left it behind rather than anthropogenic structures. So thank you for spending a quality hour with us from this Colombo cemetery, one of the most expensive parts of Colombo, where for some miraculous reason this little park still survives. Maybe join you another time soon.